So before I do this next poem, there's a little context that needs to happen. When I was in college, before I dropped out, as we referenced in the first poem, halfway through senior year, because I'm smart.
Stay in school,
don't be like me, kids.
Don't want to end up like us.
Yeah, God no. But so in my junior year, I got a pretty seriously addicted to Adderall, which is like having a real drug problem, but minus all the fun. So, you know, don't do Adderall, kids. It's not worth it. And one time when I was in the midst of my addiction, I stayed up for 5 calendar days, and turns out that's not the way your body is supposed to work. And your nightmares sort of start incorporating themselves into your daily life, and the world gets terrifying and awful. Don't stay up for 120 hours, it's never worth it. There's no situation where that's ever going to be necessary. But
sweet homegrown meth.
Yeah, you know, if you're going to do drugs, don't do the suburban ones. You'd think they'd be better, but no. So anyway, so this poem is called The Insomniac Diaries, and it's in 2 parts, and I'm going to read it now. The library is lit for an interrogation. Jagged fluorescence assaults the room. My body is a contained earthquake. Something inside of me rattles. The calendar says it's Friday. I've been awake for 5 days. The nightmares bleed into reality. I unlearn the difference between waking and dreaming. I only know days from nights. My chest is filled with abandoned machinery. Heartbeats come too fast, sporadic and violent. Dawn breaks like a bone. I clench my teeth. The speed courses through me. I obsess over the harsh angles of my body. Sunlight becomes sandpaper scraped across my eyes. The nightmare I am becoming speaks in a stranger's voice. Imagines hurling my fists through mirrors. Imagines the richness of my blood coating the tile, smokes holes in my throat. I am something monstrous. Some betrayal of darkness dragging through sunlight, a reluctant shadow, an open wound. A suit stops me, pulls my gaze towards its eyes. Arachnids pour out from my hands. The darkness calls to me like it knows I belong there. A hand traps my wrist. I jump. The suit is still there. The body inside it, something skeletal, skin melting from the bone. He speaks, and the sound is a muted scream. My hands are empty. I trace scorpions through my veins, feel them cluster at the wrists. The man clears his throat, repeats the question. Chris, are you okay? You look like hell. The terror swallowed my voice days ago. Now the world is bleached neon. Now the terror screams through me. I hate your calendars, your unblemished blood, your decaf, your rest. I have nightmares of hourglasses and the cruelty of clocks, this exquisite torture of time running out. Motherfucker, I can feel the venom in me. Do you think I enjoy this? I'm surviving the nightmare world. I know the tyranny of daylight, the love song of static. My body is an experiment in momentum, in nicotine and spite, caffeine and panic, the endless cycle of amphetamines. There is something monstrous in me. When I close my eyes, I hear it shriek. When I fall asleep, I need to know I won't dream too. My eyes open to a hive of wasps. My eyes open to a hive of wasps pressed against my throat like it knows one is trapped inside. I want to scream, but there's too much blood in my mouth. Christine is kissing me with a knife in her hand, and my eyes open to the violent shrieking and the dagger's sunlight thrust into my eyes. Max shakes me, but my mouth tastes metallic. I cough splatter painting onto a notebook, close my eyes, and see roses blooming from his wrists, escaping red mouths, yawning. My eyes open in a room of locked doors filled with insects. I open my eyes long enough to rail Adderall, leaving the lit fuse of it trailing on my nostril. I won't move for 8 hours. It's been 5 days since I saw a bed. The numbers are so important now. The numbers aren't important now. All that's important is the nightmares. I'm becoming a nightmare. Christine is wearing a wedding dress covered in blood. I think that it's mine. My eyes open and my body belongs to the terror. All I remember is motion and the fluorescence of libraries, the jagged angles of my body screaming, I exist because sleep hasn't caught up with me yet. I exist despite daylight. The drugs scream through me, leaving a hole chewed through the inside of my cheek. I press against it with my tongue and my eyes open. The nightmare. I press against it with my tongue and the pain shakes my eyes open. Time doesn't stop, but I fall out of it until there is nothing left but the dream of arachnids. The nightmares are the only thing I can remember. My fist through the mirror, my eyes open, a janitor shakes me awake, and I spit blood. The city stops and starts, but I exist outside it. All that's left is the wolves howling. My eyes open, and I'm running, vomiting blood in the bathroom. My eyes open with a hole in my cheek and a screaming chest. My professor asks if I'm okay, and the terror speaks through me. The shadows in his office are bulls and vipers. I can't stand still, so I swallow blood and shake the walls with my panic. My eyes open and hornets pour from my throat. I drink coffee and savor the heat screaming through my cheek. I run home through miles of traffic. My body remembers this, but I don't know how it started. I return to my house a stranger. Christine's dress is covered in blood. Every part of me is burning. The nightmare screams through me like a hornet's sting. It guides me to my bed, and I collapse into it.